Not every hero dies. Some endure, trapped inside their own glory, too powerful to perish, too broken to live. This is the story of those the sun once made, and what pride and darkness made of them instead. Welcome to Voice of Rory. Today I'll tell you about the Ascended, who stopped being heroes, and how a curse was born that still walks Runeterra today, waiting inside blades for a hand willing to pick them up. Stay a while and listen. Before the world knew the curse of the Darkin, there were the Ascended, the greatest heroes the sands of Shurima had ever seen. They were mortals who, through the ritual of the sun disk, were fused with cosmic concepts, becoming beings of immense power wearing the shapes of beasts. Led by Queen Setaka, the warrior queen, and standing alongside sages like Nasus, they were the Empire's unbreakable shield. They called themselves the Sunborn, proud in the belief that their divinity was a gift from the heavens, and that their purpose, the protection of order, would last forever. Each of them was a living monument, more powerful than 1,000 men wielding magic and steel with a grace that stole the breath from anyone who witnessed it. The first step towards ruin was taken in Acathia, when desperate rebels tore open the void. It was the Ascended who stood on the front line against the emptiness that could not be satisfied. They won in the end. The hero Aatrox managed to seal the breach, but the price was terrible. Their divine bodies endured, their mortal minds did not. What they witnessed in that abyss could not be undone by magic or by time. It lodged inside them like a splinter driven too deep to remove. They returned from that war as shadows of what they had been. Their souls had warped, and where solar fire once burned in their eyes, something violet and afraid now flickered instead. The final blow came with the death of Emperor Azir and the fall of Shurima. Without a ruler to give them purpose, the Ascended, already broken by what they had survived, felt abandoned by the world, betrayed by the empire they had bled for. Their pride, fed for centuries by divine power, convinced each of them that they alone were worthy of what remained of the ruined kingdom. To gain an edge in the wars they waged against each other, they turned to forbidden blood magic. They began reshaping their own bodies and armor, fusing flesh and steel into something new. Demonic forms that no longer resembled the noble heroes of centuries past. It was then that terrified mortals gave them a new name: Darkin. In the old tongue, it meant the Fallen. The Darkin War began, a conflict so brutal that entire nations vanished beneath the feet of gods who had once sworn to protect them. The Darkin marched with armies of the enslaved, fighting over ruins, until Runeterra itself stood on the edge of total annihilation. The slaughter ended only through the intervention of the Targonian aspects. Meisha, predecessor to the aspect now known as Zoe, played the decisive role, passing on to mortals the knowledge on how to imprison the Darkin. The Ascended Tarnari, seeking redemption for what his kind had become, gathered his brothers and sisters at Narimazeth under the pretense of peace talks. Before the ritual even began, one of the Darkin, Suyan, armored like a turtle and hungry for the Chalikar's power, attacked Tainari, trying to tear the weapon from his grasp by force. Tainari killed him in a single combat using the creature's own broken horn. It was only the first blood spilled that night. During the ritual itself, Tainari, empowered by Meisha's magic, summoned the white fire of the moon and struck the amphitheater with annihilating force. Most of the guarded Darkin, the seer twins Shabaka and Shabaki, the serpent Syphax, the bull Sigantus, the tiger Enakai, died where they stood, crumbling into ash. A few, like Naganika, managed to flee, though fate would eventually catch up with her too. Tainari himself lost his divinity, becoming mortal once more. But that wasn't the end of his suffering. Meisha cut out his heart, and its power fused with the Chalikar became a tool for human craftsmen. It was they, led by Tainari's 3 former queens, who forged the weapons capable of imprisoning the Darkin who survived, a process that took far longer than a single night in the Rimazeth. Today, the Darkin are conscious parasitic weapons. Their imprisonment is not death, it is something far worse. They exist in absolute freezing darkness, aware of every second of every passing century, unable to draw breath or move so much as a fraction of an inch. Each Darkin is a fabricated aspect, a trapped idea, one whose death would erase the very concept it embodies from reality itself. Several of them walk the world once more, seizing the bodies of unfortunate mortals and warping them into monstrous fusions. The most powerful of them, Aatrox, remains bound inside the blade of a massive sword. The general of the Darkin, so saturated with power that he burns through the bodies of his own host in moments, condemned to an endless hunt for a new flesh. He wants only one thing, the end of the world. He believes a final cataclysm might finally grant him the release from suffering he's carried for 1,000 years. Inside the scythe, wielded by Cain, sleeps Rhaast. The two wage war that never ends. If the Darkin wins, Runeterra faces another slaughter. If the man wins, a Darkin's power will, for the first time, be tamed rather than unleashed. In Ionia, freed from his prison inside a bow, Varus awoke and immediately claimed the bodies of 2 lovers, Kai and Valmar. A hunger for vengeance burns in him like never before, and yet the voices of those 2, still trapped somewhere inside him, keep pulling him back from total oblivion. Zolani, once a healer, now a master of forbidden blood magic, makes her blade bleed once more, and her followers repeat a promise that sounds like a curse. Freedom through obedience. Naafiri too was once one of them. Proud, certain of her superiority over her siblings, convinced that she alone deserved to lead the Darkin to victory. That pride was her undoing. Meisha outwitted her as easily as she had the others, sealing her soul inside an ordinary steel dagger and burying it deep within a Shuriman crypt. For centuries she lay there in silence, alone with her shame and regret, until one day she sensed a human presence nearby. The grave robber who found her blade knew Darkin magic too well to be lured in. He lifted the dagger with thongs, wrapped it in lead-lined cloth, and fled on horseback across the sand. But the desert had another gift waiting for Naafiri, a pack of wild hounds, their howls carrying across the dunes. It was them, not in the man, that she finally found a new body and a new curse. And Zahin, an ascendant who took the shape of an eagle, asked to be imprisoned himself. He wasn't afraid of what others might do to him. He was afraid of what he might do to the world. The Darkin are waiting. Every hand that closes around their hilt is, to them, a promise of freedom and a chance to finish the work of destruction that a silver moonlight interrupted 1,000 years ago.